I am making turtle candies. Now, this is an adaptation from my original recipe in my Dying on a Dime Volume 1. And what I'm going to do is I saw this, I thought, well, that sounds kind of cool. So I'm going to take my chopped pecans. I'm just going to put them all over my tray. Just a layer thick. Okay. Now I'm going to take my caramel, not to be confused with caramel. I had just a few left. So what I'm going to do, oh dear, why do I always do that? Oh well, got to eat those ones. Okay, so now I'm going to, how do you melt this? Okay, so I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of water in here. Okay, I've got 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to throw this in the microwave and get it melted. All right. Got my caramel all melted almost, mostly. Okay. Yeah. You can put this in a piping bag, but I think I'm just gonna dollop. Let's see, can I dollop correctly? Oh, that's working pretty good actually. Okay, now the question is, can I just put the mini chocolate chips on top and it'll melt on the, I don't know if that'll work, or do I need to melt my chocolate chips? That is the question. Let's see. I'll keep dolloping and then I'll let you know which one works better. Okay, so let me see if my chocolate chips, ooh, they did melt. Well, there you go. Well, that worked pretty handy. These ones might have cooled off too soon, but give it a try and see. If not, what I could do is just stick them in the oven for just a couple of minutes. This recipe is in my Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, on page 334. This is the original recipe that I adapted it from. Now, this might not be such a great idea if you're reusing your chocolate, or I mean your pecans. If you don't want chocolate in your pecans. But if you do want chocolate in your pecans, then that would be okay. Or you could use your chocolate and your pecans that fell, or your chocolate that your pecans fell in here, and make chocolate fudge. That's maybe what I'm gonna do. Ooh, I think I'm gonna do that. That's a great idea. See, sometimes my brilliant ideas amaze myself. Right, BJ? Do your mother's brilliant ideas amaze you some days?
Yeah.
Or whatever, Mom. If you want to say so. Sit for just a minute and then I'll spread the rest. What do you mean? My brilliant ideas aren't so brilliant? All right, so that worked pretty well. Just let the first ones, what I would do is as I do each row, put the chocolate chips on and then let them melt. And then at the end, just start over here and work your way around. Wow, I'm pretty impressed. Okay, I'm gonna let these set up and then I'm going to show you how to freeze them. Here are my turtles. Oh my goodness, I love this new thing that I invented here. Never seen anybody do this with just putting the chocolates on top and then spreading it. That is so much easier. Guys, the majority of my recipes really are super easy. Why? Because I'm actually a really lazy cook, believe it or not. Oh my goodness, how delicious. Then in the next video, I'm gonna show you the turtle fudge I'm gonna make with these leftovers. All right, now to store these turtles, I'm going to just put them in my freezer bag. Now, you do not have to freeze these. You can if you want, but these can just sit out on the counter until Christmas, sealed up. But if you want to freeze them, just throw them in the freezer just like that. The next candy that works great to freeze before Christmas, I'm making Turtle Pecan Fudge. I've got my chocolate chips here and my sweetened condensed milk. Now, here's a little tip in case you guys didn't know. Wash your can opener every couple of times, or every time if it gets really gross, because this can build up and then it won't cut as well and it'll get gross. All right, so I'm pouring in my sweetened condensed milk and we are going to microwave this until it is all melted. This recipe is based off of my 2-ingredient fudge recipe in my Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 2, on page 2 something. Where'd it go? Page 315. Okay. Just gonna stir until everything gets all melted. Oh man, that smells good. Okay, so I've got my leftover pecans here from my turtles. So I'm going to dump these into my fudge. Then I'm also going to put a few caramels. And we're gonna stir that all together. Oh, I love turtles. Okay, now I keep saying I don't love chocolate, but I do like turtles. And I have to say my favorite are macadamia, but this is probably right up there next in line. Okay, so I got my pan. Okay, and then I'm going to cut my paper. Put it in my little pan here. I love this little pan. I got this at the thrift store and I absolutely love it. I think it's 7 inches. There's one on Amazon. I'll look. See if I can find it. Okay. Then I'm going to just put this luscious fudge right in here. And all right, now we're gonna let this set up in the refrigerator. We're gonna come back and cut it, and I'm gonna show you how to store it so that you can make this several weeks ahead of Christmas and freeze this Christmas candy. Okay, I've got my fudge here. I'm just going to loosen the edges. Looks like it's actually pretty loose. There we go. All right. That's my wonderful son putting up his dishes in the dishwasher. Yes, ladies, it does happen. They grow up. Huh? Occasionally it happens.
It's a once-a-month adventure.
I actually have to say, all my adult kids, they're very good about cleaning up. Okay, now Well, and even my not adult kids are good about cleaning up too.
You're not adult kid.
My not adult kid. All right, so getting this cut into pieces. Now, I forgot to show you, shoot. But what I would do is if I was going to freeze this is just wrap the entire thing in plastic wrap and then slide it into your freezer bag. So I would just wrap the whole thing and slide it in the freezer bag. Now, my mom individually wraps each piece of fudge. I do not have the patience for that at all. What I would do is I would just take my Ready Seal and I would just put it on here, flip it. Maybe. Okay, maybe that wasn't a great idea. Sometimes my brilliant ideas aren't so brilliant. Here's how I do it. Just do this and this and this and fold up and fold up. And then take my freezer bag and just slide it in just like that. Okay, throw it in the freezer and you're ready for Christmas. Oh, yum. Here's another candy you can freeze a few weeks before Christmas. I am making my Christmas nougat recipe. Now I've got my white chocolate chips in here and I'm going to put it in the microwave and start microwave them at 30-second increments until it's partially melted, and then we're gonna add our marshmallows and melt those. My white chocolate is pretty melted. Got my tablespoon of butter. Then I'm going to add my marshmallows. And then while this is microwaving, I'm gonna finish cutting up my Dots candy. Now that I found the easiest way to do this is just with a pair of scissors. And you're like, oh, I don't wanna do that. It really doesn't take that long, guys. I mean, it maybe took me a minute and a half to cut up an entire box. All right, let's get this melted. Okay, let me see, I think it'll be there. It might be there. I believe we are. Okay, now I'm gonna put about that many in and leave this many for top. Okay, and we're just going to mix it all in just like so. Okay, all right, I got my pan with my parchment paper. Now, this is a half batch compared to my recipe on my site, but as you can see on the recipe, it's just 1, 1, 1. So you just double, triple, quadruple this, however much you want, although it's easiest not to do it more than in batches of 2, just because it gets really hard to stir the marshmallow into the white chocolate. Then we're gonna take our leftover candies and we're going to put them all over the top. And I start with kind of going all over the place and then just filling in. Where did I put another one? All right. Now we're gonna put this in the refrigerator and let it set up. I've got my nougat here, my yummy nougat, and I shall cut it. I had a request, Mom, may I have some of this wonderful nougat? And I said I must cut it first. All right, here is my new. Would you like to show who's stinking the nougat? Is it delicious?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to recycle my paper here. And what I'm going to do is for things like nougat, you can freeze it just fine. But what you want to do is put paper in between, because if you don't, then it will stick to each other, okay? And so probably, well, I did this wrong. The easiest way to do it actually is in your freezer bag already. Oh, well, that actually slid in pretty well. Okay, so there we go. We got our first layer. And now, put the second. Also, this would be easier in a tin, too. Well, good grief. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to layer and layer and layer. And my family wants to eat the rest of it, so just push the air out, seal it, and throw it in the freezer, and then just pull it out and set it on your tray for Christmas, and it will be nice and fresh. I am making coconut snowballs. I've got my cream cheese here and my sweetened condensed milk. Now my cream cheese has been softened, and I've got my coconut. And if you want, I add just a titch of coconut flavoring also, because it just makes it a little bit more coconutty. And then that all stirred in, but I'm going to use the mixer. All right, I get the first round with the mixer, and then the second, I just stir it in by hand. I love coconut. Oh my goodness, so delicious. All right, we're gonna put this in the fridge and let it set up and get just a little bit more firm before we roll them. All right, I got my coconut mixture here. Now, what I'm gonna do is take my ice cream scoop. You don't have to. Now, I'm using gloves just because because it's just so sticky. And then what I'm gonna do, wrap it in the coconut, or roll it, not wrap it. Roll it in the coconut, just like so. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try, I've never done this before. Let's try something new and inventive, shall we? I'm going to try and, let's see. I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll see. But I'm just going for it because that's just the kind of girl I am, guys. I just go for it and just give it a try and see what happens. You know, life is about experimenting. Oops. And it doesn't always work. Now, you could do this instead of cream cheese. You could do it with white chocolate. Ooh. That would be so good. There. Now, like I said, you don't have to do gloves, but it's just so sticky. I find it works a little bit easier. All right, I'm gonna let these finish setting up in the fridge, and then I will show you how you can freeze these for Christmas. Got my snowballs here. I did let these go overnight. Now, to put these in the freezer, all you do is just put them in your bag, just like so. Now, I probably should have used the smaller scoop. These are pretty large coconut truffles, but that's okay. Now, I would save this for coconut fudge, which would be delicious. Then just close this up, throw those in the freezer, and they're ready for Christmas. I am making chocolate covered pretzels today. This is a great recipe to freeze ahead of time. Now, I got this cute little chocolate dipping pot at the thrift store, and I thought, ooh, I'm gonna try that. There's $1 at my thrift store, and I like that. So, let's see. Ooh, I think that's gonna be good. Now, I think I want my chocolate just a bit thinner. So I'm gonna put a little bit of shortening in. If you want to use coconut oil to thin it, you can. You can use whatever you would like. Let's get that stirred around. It's on warm. Yeah, that's better. Now, this is a great make-ahead Christmas candy. You can put it in the freezer or just leave it on the counter if you want. Okay, so there we go. Now, getting whole pretzels. Put it in there. This recipe is in my Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1, on page 327. Okay, now, just so that my chocolate doesn't set up, I'm going to put my sprinkles every few dippings here. All right, we're gonna let these set up. You can let them set up in the freezer or the fridge for a few minutes if you want, or just on the countertop. All right, here are my pretzels. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love these. Now, if you want to freeze your pretzels, it's like super easy. Just take a freezer bag and put them all in here. Now, if you want to freeze them, you can. It does not soften the pretzels, but I just leave mine on the counter and they are ready to go at Christmas. I make these up a few weeks ahead of time and just keep them in the pantry. Now, what I love, I've used this 3 times since I've had it so far. What I love about this is you don't have to clean this out every time. So let's say you're doing 3 or 4 days worth of chocolate dipping. Start with the chocolates. Start with the candies that don't have as much flavor in the base. So like your pretzels, your nougats, your vanilla bonbons, those kinds of things. And then work your way up to different flavors with things like peanut butter at the end so that the flavors don't get in your chocolate. But I'm gonna save this and just put a little bit of foil on top and then remelt it when I'm ready to go for my next chocolate dipping. I am making 4 ingredient homemade toffee. Now this one is almond. Normally I use walnuts on the bottom, but you're gonna take your 8x8 pan, put a layer of nuts. This one's almond. Then we're going to take our pan and we're going to melt our butter on medium heat so it doesn't burn, and add our, ooh, perfect, Brown sugar, make sure it's packed. Brown sugar, always in recipes, make sure your brown sugar is packed. So smash it in there really good. Okay, we're gonna bring this to a boil and then turn it on low and let it boil for 7 minutes. Getting it all mixed together there. Turn my heat down, my timer. All right, there we go. We're gonna let it boil. Now, one thing, you don't need to stir it. As long as it's on low, it should be fine. But if you think it's starting to burn, so you can smell it starting to burn. If you think it's starting to burn, just take it immediately off the heat and go ahead and pour it in your pan. But so far, we're doing great. All right, got 10 seconds left. This is what it looks like. Oh my goodness, this is so delicious. This is my favorite candy. Well, peanut butter brittle is too. Okay, now at high altitude, you may need to go another 30 seconds, but I'm right on the line, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour it. This recipe is in my Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1, on page 340 right here. It is on sale right now. The link is in the description below. You'll want your pan on a hot pad because it will burn your counter because it's super hot. Oh my goodness, this is like toffee perfection. I absolutely love toffee. Then just spread it around, just like so. Now be careful, this is super hot. This is one you don't want the kids underfoot when you're making it. They could be on the other side watching mom or grandma, but you don't want them underfoot because it is super, super hot. Okay, now we're gonna let this set up, but we need to put our chocolate chips on top. Now I prefer the mini ones because they melt quicker. You don't have to. You can use whichever flavor you want. You can use milk, dark. I like semi-sweet. Now, I don't think Mom and Grandma did this step, but I put a cookie sheet on top, hello, because I think it helps hold in the heat and melt the chocolate chips. So we're gonna let that sit about 2 or 3 minutes and then we're gonna spread our chocolate chips. All right, it's been a couple of minutes. Look at how nice that just smooths out, just like so. Okay, we're gonna let this set up in the refrigerator, freezer, or just on the counter, and then we will break it up and I'll show you how to freeze it. Got my toffee here. Now I loosen the edges, and I should have put the parchment paper in, but it's okay. I just go through, I already did it once with the knife, but this is a little bit better. Okay, and then sometimes it'll just pop out, and of course today it won't. Now, I'm at high altitude for some things, and at other things I'm not. So we'll see if I have only made toffee in this house like twice or 3 times, so I don't know if I need to do high altitude or not. Okay. There we go. Oh, yum. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. Okay, now normally I would just break this, but I can feel that it didn't quite set up. So probably for me at this house, I need to go and do another 30 seconds, but that's okay. It's nice and tasty. We'll just do squares. Oh my goodness, is this like almond roca? Oh, yum. Yes, it is. All right. To freeze this, all you gotta do is put it in your bag. And then just throw it in the freezer until Christmas. Get all sealed up, and there you go. Oh, yum. This next candy to make ahead of time and freeze is peanut butter balls, one of my favorites. Aunt Donnie's peanut butter balls. Now, you could make these into peanut butter cups if you want, but it's a little bit more work. I just do the peanut butter balls because it's easier. Now, my butter was frozen, so it didn't stay out long enough to get it defrosted. So what I'm going to do is throw this in the microwave and just give it a short burst to defrost it. Check that it's not totally. I check every 10 or 15 seconds just to make sure it's not totally just mush. You don't want it mush, but you do want it softened. It's okay if there's a little bit of it that is liquid, but you don't want it all liquid. Perfect. So I think my butter is softened. Let me check if it's softened in the center. Not really. Okay, so I'm going to put it in about 10 more seconds. Okay, I did 15 seconds, but I think that'll get it softened. Okay, got my butter, softened butter in here. So we're hauling out the big guns today. This thing I've had for 20 years. I love it. Yep, that's all softened. So now we need a cup of peanut butter. Now, this recipe is linked in the description below. I get a lot of people who say, where's the recipe? You didn't give the ingredients. No, because I make you go to our website to get it so that you can just print it out all nice and neat there. So it is in the description below. Now, people ask, can you use expired food? Yes, you can. This is July 2024, and right now it's October 2024, and we are still using this peanut butter, and it is just fine. Peanut butter does go rancid in your pantry quicker than other foods, but you still have 6 months to a year after the expiration date. Okay, just a titch more. All right, there we go.
So with 6 months to a year, how can you tell if it's bad?
You'll taste it. You'll know. It will not taste like peanut butter. It'll have an off taste, but you'll recognize it. Okay, this all in there. Now we need our powdered sugar. All right, for you guys wondering, this is where I keep my extra. Isn't that cute? My Pepsi crate that I got for free on the side of the road. That was a good deal. Then I have scissors. We want 2 cups of powdered sugar. Now I'm not going to dirty another measuring cup. Yes, I know this is liquid and not dry, but for this recipe it doesn't really matter. Okay, scrape all the rest out. Oh my goodness, this is so delicious. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, volume 1, on page 336 if you want the peanut butter cups, or 337 if you want the peanut butter balls. This was my Aunt Donnie's recipe that was given to Grandma, that was given to Mom, that was given to me. Easy recipes that will help you save money on your grocery bill that your family will love. Get your copy in the description below today. Oh, and I forgot my vanilla. This is my homemade vanilla from Dining on a Dime, Volume 1 also. This is a great Christmas present. I am almost out. Dear, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year. Well, Mike calls it a melon baller. I guess it is a melon baller, but I was going to say ice cream scoops, but yeah, it would be a melon baller for this size. I love these little scoops that have the little flippy thing on there because it just comes out really nice and neat. Then I just take and now I'm not doing these perfectly, and I'll show you why. Because what I do is after I put them on here, then I go in and I just roll them. This just gives it a measured amount so they're all the same size. Okay, now I'm going to go through and do all these, and then we're going to pop them in the freezer. Okay, now the never-ending question is, where do I put it in the freezer? Oh boy.
You can take off my ice pack and it'll fit right on those flat boxes.
Oh, there. Okay. Mike's knee ice pack, and it will fit right there. Thank you, dear. See, that's why I need you around. Okay, now we're gonna let these cool for, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour, and then we're gonna come back and dip them. Now we got our melting wafers, which I paid $1 for these on clearance after Christmas. So check the clearance aisle after Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. You can get these 50 to 90% off. One year I got 90% off, so instead of $5, it was around, what would that be, 50 cents, I think? Is that right?
I didn't hear that.
They were really cheap. 90% off of $5 is 50 cents, I think.
Yeah.
So I got them for 50 cents. I think I paid $1 for these. So that's a great way to save money on your Christmas candy making. All right, I need to explain something about why the recipe is written differently than how I'm doing it. So you can see here, Grandma and Aunt Donnie and Mom all used 1 packet of chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of paraffin wax. Why did they do that? Because dipping chocolates were not available when this recipe came down to my family. So you can get the dipping chocolates, or you can get a box of paraffin. I got this one at a yard sale. It's probably $3 or $4 now. And all you do is just take, well, maybe, I think those melted together, but it's fine. All you do is just take and scrape 2 tablespoons of your paraffin in your mixing bowl here, or I mean your measuring cup here, just like so. Now this will last forever. I mean, I'm not kidding. I had paraffin that I used for 20 years before I ran out of my Christmas baking, so it's fine. It's not gonna go bad. If you're worried about eating wax, guys, it's not a big deal. You'll just poop it out. You won't do anything. It'll just slide right on through, all nice and smooth. So just don't even worry about it. But that is probably getting close to maybe just a little bit more with my 2 tablespoons. And then I would just pour in my chocolate chips and just melt as normal, about 30 seconds, and stir every 15 to 30 seconds after that, and keep stirring so your chocolate doesn't burn. Now, since we're all, what century are we in, dear?
21st.
Since we're all 21st century and not the 1900s anymore, we're just going to pour all of our melting wafers in here and get these melted and start dipping our peanut butter balls. So I know it's crazy because you're like, Tara, nothing has really melted. Why are you stirring it? To release some of the heat so that the inside down here doesn't burn. Oh, yum. Now don't go more than 30 seconds, guys, because you'll burn your chocolate. I know it's a slow process, but in real time it's only like 2 minutes. Make sure you get clear down to the bottom, because the bottom always seems to warm up faster than the top. I don't know why. I don't know my microwave physics. Okay, so that last time I just did 15 seconds because I don't want to burn it. Very good. Okay. Now, this is not as thin as I would like it. I want it actually a little bit thinner. Well, maybe I should warm it up a little bit more. Man, that's pretty hot. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, because it's not quite as thin as I want, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of coconut oil. You could use shortening instead if you want. Coconut oil, I just like it better because it gets hard, and so it makes a nice, more firm coating. But thin it down just a bit with either shortening or coconut oil. Yeah, there we go. That's more the consistency that I want. So if your chips aren't thinning down, just add your tablespoon of shortening or coconut oil. Ooh, beautiful. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, it has been about an hour. Right, so I don't want to waste my parchment paper, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and move them all to this end. Okay. Then we're going to start dipping. Now, a viewer sent me these for dipping chocolates. Oh my goodness, they are so darn tootin' cool. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below for you if you wanna try them. But if you don't have this fancy schmancy thing that's so cool, you can use a toothpick and just dip and tap it. There you go. Set it on your baking sheet and then just take your toothpick and just fix the top there. I'll show you how we do it with this little jobber. Put it in there, stir it around. Now I do like this better because it comes off cleaner, but oops, there we go. Okay, now we're just going to do all of these peanut butter balls. Now you might have to go halfway in between or even a third of the way and rewarm your chocolate because it does cool down. If you want to double dip, you can. I don't, but here are your peanut butter balls right here. And all right, I'm going to taste test because you don't like peanut butter, so this is mine. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is probably my favorite Christmas candy. 10 out of 10. Delicious. All right, now to freeze your peanut butter balls, your truffles, your chocolate covered cherries, any of those, all you do is just throw them in a plastic freezer bag just like so. Seal them. Throw them in the freezer, then just pull out however many you want at a time. If you need to sneak a little treat between now and Christmas, these will last several weeks in the freezer. This next candy is one of my favorites. I am making 2-ingredient Nonpareils. Is that how you say it? I don't know how you say it. So, okay, that is cool. So I've got my little sprinkles here. I'm going to spread them out all over my tray here. Now, I took my chocolate. Now, this is a great recipe for leftover chocolate after you've been dipping candy. And I put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, stirred, 30 more seconds, stirred, and 30 more seconds, and stirred. And now I'm almost all melted. You can see I'm not quite there, but this is warm enough that it's going to go ahead and finish melting. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty warm. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool just a bit because it's just a little too warm for me to put in my piping bag. So I'm gonna let it cool maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. All right. In about 5 minutes, my chocolate has cooled down, and I'm going to pour it into my piping bag here. All right, got my pan here, and just twist the top. Ooh, that's too big. There, that's better. All right, then I'm going to take the back of my spoon and just flatten it out, just like so. Oops. You want to just tap the top. All right, then you can let these either sit on the counter and harden up, or if you're in a hurry and you need your baking sheet, you can put them in the fridge or the freezer and let them set up. All right, my nonpareils are done. Let's take, oh, look at that, absolute perfection. Oh my goodness, those are so darn tootin' cool. Then you can just do this as many times as you want, and the sprinkles you can just reuse for later if you need them for something else. Ah, I love those. I don't know why. I used to love this candy so much. And oh, I especially love it with white chocolate. Okay. Oh, do I make one with white chocolate? I love white chocolate. It is my favorite. Oh, yum. Okay, now, in order to freeze these, okay, now you can make these several weeks ahead of time for Christmas. And what you'll do is you'll just put them in a baggie, just like so. And if you want to freeze them, you can freeze them, or you can just leave them sitting out in a sealed bag, just like this, and they should be fine for Christmas. Oh, I love it.